You felt that, right? That little jolt in your chest like the Wi-Fi just dropped during Game 7? That wasn't your router. That was the league whispering something it shouldn't. A door cracked open in the Pacific breeze. A veteran shot echoing in an empty practice gym. And a front office asking itself, if we did this one wild thing, would the West finally flinch? Before anybody starts printing jerseys in the garage. Here's my promise to you. I'm going to walk you through the chessboard timeline. Cap angles, real basketball fit, what this does to Anthony Davis's workload, and whose minutes get renovated, not deleted. We'll talk price without fairy dust, ego management without drama class, and how one very specific skill turns playoff possessions from coin flips into appointments. I'll lay out the paths this could take, from grown-up trade math to the kind of awkward midseason maneuver that gives accountants heartburn. No spoilers, yet hold the reveal like a last shot follow-through. This is Lakers News Fan Report, the loudest responsible corner of Lakers internet. If you live for purple and gold heartbeats and also like your rumors pressure tested before you buy the t-shirt, hit that subscribe, so the algorithm stops pretending you're a casual. And let's cook without burning the kitchen. Let's be honest, the identity crisis hasn't been subtle. When the offense hums, it looks like Jazz cuts, slips, touch passes. When it coughs, it's a clogged sink. Too many second quarters where the ball sticks like gum on a shoe and the spacing shrinks to a studio apartment. Everyone says shooting, but what they really mean is gravity. Gravity is the defender you never have to sub in because he lives rent-free in heads. The West is a liar's poker table. Denver's continuity dares you to blink. OKC's legs never get tired. Phoenix can still microwave 20 in 5 minutes just by remembering who they are. And up the coast, there's a team that built a decade on 2 words, movement and menace. When you answer that kind of religion, you don't light a Senate candle, you install floodlights. We've asked a lot of Anthony Davis, and he's paid invoices like an adult. But the book on LA has been predictable. Pack the paint, dare the auxiliary shooting to beat you, live with hot and cold quarters. A star spacer changes the math on every possession. Deeper drops become suicides. Weak side tags turn into prayer, and your best action suddenly has a second best option baked in. There's also the calendar reality. Windows are not museums. They don't politely wait for tour groups. LeBron year, whatever we're pretending he is today, still bends the floor. But the smart play is maximizing every high-leverage possession now, not polishing draft picks for tomorrow that may never arrive. Blue chip spacing ages like good coffee still works at 8 a.m., still punches at 8p.m. So what's the archetype? A playoff-proof adult who doesn't need the ball to matter, who can live off screens, rescreen ghosts, set a flare, and then punish your hesitation. Someone whose very jog to the corner turns 2 defenders into liars. Someone who has already seen enough made basketball to know that pretty cuts die. Without ruthless shooting, you already feel the outline. A right hand that barely blinks, a release like a text message, a career built on hunting your panic and wearing it like cologne. The kind of veteran that makes your rookie shut up and watch film. Not a saviors are bad for teens. A solutions are how you win Tuesday nights and survive Sunday afternoons. All right. Enough foreplay. Here's the sentence. The concept bouncing off league walls, right? Now is the Lakers landing Klay Thompson. Now that we've said it out loud, let's talk like adults. This isn't a throw a second rounder and a smile situation. If there's a real path, it lives in 3 neighborhoods. A trade built on matching salary plus picks. A surgical sign-in trade that both cap departments can explain to their families. Or the galaxy brain route if circumstances change for his current team. None of those are casual. All of them exist on whiteboards in rooms that smell like dry erase markers and stress. Basketball first, because that's the only reason to do any of this. Klay's gravity is a wing condition. You plant him in the strong side corner and post a D, the dig disappears. You run empty corner 2-man with Klay lifting to the slot, and switches get sticky because he punishes late feet with that one-motion snap. Spain PNR? He's the back screener who then sprints to daylight. Horns flare. He turns it from cute to cruel. You don't acquire a number on a jersey, you acquire the right for your best players to breathe. What about the miles? Reasonable question. The defense isn't 2016. The lateral juice isn't infinite. But you don't hire him to guard Ye from half court. You scheme him into success. Top lock relief with a helper ready to stunt. Stash him on the least creative wing and let the length behind him erase mistakes. Cross-match after makes so he starts trips where he's safest. The goal is to harvest the shooting without, pretending he's still erasing the ocean. Let's talk ripple effects on the current group. Austin Reeves stopped seeing stunt and recover as often and gets to. Play more second-side pick and roll instead of, please invent one. Dalton Nectar, whoever is, occupying that wing usage graduates from hopeful spacing to real spacing because Klay cannibalizes the most honest attention. Your bench units stop feeling like auditions and start feeling like plans. LeBron factor. If he's on the floor with Klay and a D, you create the kind of triangle that doesn't need a chalkboard. LeBron a D two-man game has lived for a half step of help. Klay deletes that help with the threat of a three that aged well. If LeBron's minutes get managed or he's off the floor, Klay becomes the metronome that keeps the possession from turning into somebody go do something. Time is a thief. Gravity is insurance. Price tag reality check. Want the shooter who makes your playbook make sense? You pay in assets and in ego flexibility. The outgoing bundle can't hollow you out. Otherwise, you're buying a lock and selling the door. It likely costs a first that doesn't give your cap team hives, a prospect you like but can bear to miss, and salary that doesn't break your soul. Painful? Of course. But painless upgrades are fairy tales told by teams that miss the playoff cap mechanics for the non-accountants. You need to match money without handcuffing your depth. You need incoming years that won't kneecap your mid-tier market next summer. You need to preserve a route to adding a defensive big or a switchy wing later. Translation: if the structure can't survive February injuries, it's not a structure, it's a tent. Isn't this just nostalgia cosplay? Cute line, bad take. The value proposition isn't about posters from 2018. It's about what wins possessions in 2026. Off-ball threats age better than burst merchants. The shot is still a sermon. The processing speed never relied on a first step that time steals. And the Lakers' biggest cold snap problem has been honest fear from 24 feet. This fixes a chronic condition, not a headline. What breaks if it doesn't work? You tied a chunk of flexibility to a high variance bet. If the legs don't cooperate or the volume dips below playoff utility, you're swimming upstream with a smile. That's the risk column. But the reward is a postseason where your half-court offense doesn't need miracles to roam free. Championship roads are paved with boring, repeatable advantages. Klay is a boring, repeatable advantage dressed like fireworks. Let's poke holes, because that's our job. If you're terrified of tying money to a veteran shooter, your alternative has to be real, a wing who guards up a position and shoots league plus, or a guard who bends the paint and hits kickouts at 38% on volume. Those players cost the same or more and usually want the ball. Klay doesn't ask for the car keys. He just puts premium gas in whatever you're already driving. Rotation questions. Who loses minutes? The honest answer is whoever can't punish help the way he can. That might mean fewer heat check adventures for guys who haven't earned them yet. It might mean bumping a bench favorite into a leaner role. That's the part of winning that Instagram hates. Somebody's usage diet gets cut. The film room loves it. Chemistry and ego. The best thing about veteran spacers is that their stardom doesn't require a memo. Klay's fame lives in the net. You don't have to build a shrine in the playbook. You just need to keep the elevator doors oiled and the pin-down angles tight. He'll find shots because the defense will find him. Attention is the most loyal passer in basketball. Late game menu. Picture the last 90 seconds in a one-possession game. You ram into a LeBron AD empty side. Klay lifts from the corner. The tagger freezes, and Davis gets the pocket without a scratch. Next trip, same shape, but Klay back cuts the top lock for a layup because the scout told him he's popping. Next trip, same start, Spain PNR. Klay screens the big panics, and your lob goes up clean. That's not trickery. That's cruelty. What if he wants a bigger role? Crowd can relax. Volume for him has always been a product of advantage, not entitlement. If anything, the concern is making sure he doesn't drift to the corner and nap through quarters. That's on coaching. Call his number early every half. Run 2 quick hitters to wake his legs, then let the fear do the rest. Coaching fit. Any modern staff work their whiteboard can cook with a prime spacer. But this front office has to guarantee the right mix of actions. Split cuts, wide pins, Chicago into rescreen, diamond sets that layer cuts like a cake. The goal is monotony for the defense and variety for the offense. Same pitcher, different punchline, playoff counters. Opponents will try to bully him with length and chase him into traffic. Fine. You punish that with ghost screens, empty side keepers, and the oldest counter in basketball. Make or miss. The number of open threes he sees in a 7-game series would make a shooting coach cry happy tears. Bad shooters need variety to score. Great shooters need breath. Let's talk the room in June. If this happens and he's who he's always been, the locker room gets quieter in a good way. Guys stop forcing my-turn possessions because the offense has an adult in the room. Adds mid-post touches, start leading to layups and clean kickouts instead of math problems. The second unit wins more third quarters. That's the boring truth nobody tweets. Titles are built on the cumulative power of not wasting minutes. Now, reality check part 2. Status today is exploratory energy, not a parade permit. Interest is not agreement. Frameworks can exist without signatures. And sometimes the sticker price climbs just high enough to make even brave teams put the pen down. That's why you hear concept and not final. It's why we talk pathways and not promises. You still with me? Good. Because this is where you come in. If the deal requires a first and a real player, are you in or out? If it tightens flexibility for a year, but opens the floor for 2 playoff runs, what's your line? Name it. Which young piece is sacred to you, and which pick do you consider rent for the right to space the floor like adults? Say it out loud below and make your case like you're at the table. There's a human piece that's not cute but matters. Shooters at this stage of their career know exactly who they are. They also know when a franchise is serious versus when it's chasing headlines. If LA wants this, the pitch can't be come save us. It has to be come slot into a plan, and we'll win because you are a plan. Stars smell desperation. They sign up for Clarity. Zoom out and ask the only question that actually matters. Does this make LA playoff inevitable? Not better on paper, not fun for highlights. Inevitable. Because that's the standard. If the answer is yes, you pay the tax and you don't apologize to the accountant. If the answer is maybe if 3 other things break, right? You walk and keep your powder dry for a wing who lives closer to his prime. There's also the youth argument. I like kids. I also like winning. The best version of this team feeds the kids minutes that matter while surrounding them with adults who make those minutes efficient. Klay doesn't block growth. He assigns it homework. Reeves learned more in 1 series next to a gravity nuke than in 6 months of solo creation against tilted floors. For the defense will hunt him crowd. Welcome to the playoffs, everybody gets hunted. The game is not to avoid being circled. It's to survive the circle with structure. Guarding on a string is culture, not celebrity. The Lakers have bodies to hide and helpers to rotate. You build your scheme around a D's paint dictatorship and let the rest be good enough. Meanwhile, Klay is turning your +2 South into +3 Esta if the front office passes after kicking the tires. That's fine. Too discipline is a weapon. But don't dismiss the idea because your 2019 brain is stuck in a different cap world. The second apron forces teams to double down on stars who multiply. Klay multiplies. He turns average actions into plus possessions and good players into better ones. He's a math problem disguised as a memory dot. We should also talk endings. This organization loves fairy tales, but banners aren't bedtime stories. They're spreadsheets married to shot charts, egos stitched into roles, and 1,000 boring decisions that add up to confetti. A move like this isn't romance. It's infrastructure. If you want another parade, the route usually starts with a shooter you can trust in ugly games. If nothing else, I want this front office to keep aiming at certainty. Not upside, maybe. Not if he figures it out. Not break in case of February. Certainty. Klay Thompson's certainty is not who he was at 27. It's who he still is at 30-something. You leave him, you lose. Simple as powerful, Doc. So here's where we stand. A credible pathway exists. The basketball fit is gorgeous. The price is real, and the clock is loud. If phones ring with the right tone, this can go from scribble to signature fast. If not, it remains what it is today, a very loud idea that scares every team. Who would rather defend 5 than guard 6? Drop your blueprint in the comments. What's the package you'd actually send without hating yourself in April? Which rotation wrinkles would you want Darvin, whoever's holding the clipboard that night, to spam in the first 10 games with Klay on the floor? And if you're out, give me the adult alternative who provides 80% of this gravity without breaking the bank. No vibes, just plans. My personal opinion. If the cost is bold but sane, you do it because Klay Thompson in purple and gold makes playoff offense inevitable. And yes, right now, this is still speculation, not a confirmed deal.